Well, good afternoon. I'm Rick Dancer. Welcome to this special edition of Get Real with Rick Dancer. We do have a show coming up tonight, New Leaf Hyperbarics. We're going to be over there, and we're going to be talking about NAMI, which is an organization that helps with people with mental difficulties. So that's what we're looking forward to tonight. But I just had to go on today because of all that is happening in our state and even in our country right now. It's just absolutely crazy. And, I went on the Oregon Health Authority's page in Oregon and I looked, and the numbers are coming down. We're flattening that curve as we have been. It was going up a little bit. Now it's coming down. Of course, that's if you believe those numbers. Then I was looking up some numbers at Texas. It has 30 million people in the state of Texas. OK, they only have 33% of their folks fully vaccinated. And on Sunday, they had 0 death rate. Their numbers are low. It's not taking over the world. And and by talking about this, it's not belittling any of those people who have suffered loss or had the illness. It's not any of that. And I know people try to do that, but that's what people do when they're trying to own a conversation. And we have to be talking about this, and we can't be afraid. And I'm not picking on people. I asked other business people to come on and had several responses, but all of them are afraid to come on because of what people might do to them and their business. And that's just not Oregon. This is just not how we live. And I think Governor Brown is pushing too hard, which makes you want to know, why are you pushing so hard to get everyone vaccinated? There are people that don't want to get vaccinated and they're choosing not to. That is their right. And you can't then take them and make them the scourge by saying, okay, I heard in Chicago, the mayor was talking and saying that they were going to have these festivals this summer, and if you weren't vaccinated, you couldn't come. You can't do that in America. Oh my God, you can't do that. I mean, that sounds like something out of Nazi Germany. We're going to start distancing people because they choose not to have, a shot, and that's how we're going to do it. That is not right. And that's not how we do things. And I think it's really screwy that the governor is putting all this mandate crap on the backs of small business owners. Like they have so much extra help that they can go around and check people's for their cards and all this. The more you hear and the more they come out with, the more you realize that it appears they really don't know what they're doing. And every day it seems like it's flippy floppy. And how are people supposed to keep up? Well, I think the problem is, it's kind of like you cry wolf too many times and people stop listening. And I think, Governor, you're pushing too hard and you're losing people. And it's not just a bunch of right-wing fanatics. There's a bunch of us in the middle and a whole bunch of my friends on the left who are also done with this. The numbers are coming down. Everybody around us is opening up. Unless you're blind, or you don't look around or watch the news every night, then maybe you think the world's coming to an end. But otherwise, it's not. I am so hopeful, and I'm seeing people now taking off their masks and smiling and enjoying life and not afraid. I still see a lot of people who are afraid, and that's your choice. It's okay. But the rest of us don't have to be that. And OSHA, Joe says, I don't like OSHA. They just enable the governor's disrespectful behavior. Joe, that's a very good way to put it. It is, because I think what we keep forgetting, and I try to keep reminding you, is Governor Brown is our employee. We are not subjects. She's not the queen. She is the governor, and we elect her. So I call on the legislature in Oregon. I don't care if you're Democrats or Republicans. You need to get a handle on this, because that's why you're elected. And this is not a party thing. And and don't even make it into one. I am learning so much about courage and cowardice. And what cowards try to do is make you the problem. And we're not the problem. It's time to open up, time to get things going. So one person who did answer me was somebody we've had on the show before. We go down to South County, where I saw on the site, Amy Jones, that Douglas County is like only 39% vaccinated.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having me again.
Oh, well, you're welcome. And I'm glad you got a hold of me and stuff. Anyone
No
else's
problem.
stream getting shut down, or is it just me? Oh, are they shutting the stream down? Somebody said oh, that's great. Oh, I don't know. Is it? I don't know. Let me know if it is. But anyway, we're going to keep talking. So, Amy, you contacted me, and the last time we talked, you have a business, but you
I do.
actually had to go out of business.
We actually got evicted in January from our landlord for non-payment of rent. And
Okay.
we have filed for the PPPs, the extra idle advances, larger funds for our idle loan that they've now offered to businesses that got it before. And honestly, we paid rent up until December and just didn't pay January. And according to the lease and everything, we were evicted.
Wow.
Because the governor did not allow commercial rent moratoriums.
Oh.
She only did it for residential.
That is crazy.
So unfortunately, we had to go, the judge had to go with everything that was in the lease agreement.
Wow. So you're looking for a new place because you are going to reopen.
We are reopening, and we are looking for a new place. We have our eye on a couple of spots here in Myrtle Creek. We are going to stay in Myrtle Creek. We do want to stay on Main Street because, of course, our name has Main Street in it.
Tell them the name of your business, though, so for real quick.
Blended Main Street Eatery.
Okay.
From your farms to our tables. So we're farm to fresh.
Wow. Well, here's Stephen Sheehan's on here. He just wrote, and he owns the Elkhorn Brewery here in town.
Okay.
Really odd. I'm getting called a Nazi by all my thinkers because I posted the rules.
Oh, I've been called a rebel, extremist. I haven't been called a Nazi, but I'm a rebel extremist because I believe in my rights and my employees.
So when you see this, because it's not going to impact you right now because you're not open, but when you see this, your friends and your other folks who are running businesses, how do they expect you to really do this? I mean, you know what I mean? So if somebody walks into your business and now your waiter or waitress or person at the front is supposed to go, by the way, I need to see your medical history. I mean, I've heard several people say we are not going to make our employees do that because one, that's not their job.
It isn't their job.
And two, if OSHA and the state wants to come in and look for it, they can come do it themselves.
Exactly. So I've fallen on this since the get-go, HIPAA. It's their right. You are not allowed to ask for somebody's medical history.
Well, I've read up on that a little bit, and I think that there's a loophole in there that that they actually can in this case.
Okay.
It's not all your medical. You don't have to give it, but they can ask for it. So I think it's just how you answer that is your business. You know what I mean?
It is, right.
I think what's bothersome to me is not even a HIPAA thing. It's that we are to a point now where we're allowing or not allowing people based on their medical choices. And I know the people on the other side of this issue would say, well, you're putting people at risk. You're putting yourself at risk. Well, that's my business. And you're putting other people who are not masked or not vaccinated or shot, whatever it is, at risk. And, at some point, when did we become a nanny state? Well, we've been a nanny state for a long time, but when did we become a place where it's any of your damn business what I do? You know what I mean? It's not your business. And that's what I think is starting to rub the left, the middle, and the right in a way that all of a sudden you're going, wait a minute, why does it seem like, is there, if Texas can do it, and they got 30 million people. Why can't Oregon? You know,
Agreed.
why can't we get this straight? I posted a big notice on my business doorway, small business. I will not ask you for COVID vaccine card. I will not violate HIPAA.
I love that.
So somebody on YouTube says the stream keeps getting shut down. Okay. Well, constant interruptions. What's that? The constant interruptions is crazy. I went there for lunch. It was great. Good food. Most didn't wear a mask to include their employees. The process was smooth and easy.
Thank
So
you.
I want people to just, the other things I think, Amy, that you and I could talk a little bit about too is you know, I think we're frustrated, and I'm tired of the name calling on all sides. You know what I mean? It's okay to say, Kate Brown, you can't do this, but I'm tired of people coming on and everybody calling people names, and we all slip into that once in a while. I called her the queen, but she is acting like a queen. I don't mean she's a queen. I just mean we are not your subjects, and we're acting like we have a monarchy here, and this is not a monarchy. But I think if we need to start talking to our neighbors, and I think if the mask comes off, that people, it's almost like we've hidden for over a year behind a mask, and then you can be it's like hiding behind a keyboard. You can be anybody you want to be. And when we take off the mask, you really have to deal face to face with people.
Right.
Whoever thought there'd be a day in the US that people would be afraid of speaking their mind? Christy, I so agree with you.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Amy. Your thought.
No, I agree. I'll go into a store here locally in Douglas County, and I won't wear masks. And I'll get the looks from people, the dirty looks that you're still getting under a mask, that you just want to say, it's not your business. You don't know why. I'm choosing to not wear a mask because it's my right.
Right.
But the dirt, it's not even the name calling, it's the dirty looks that people give you under a mask that's this big, and you can tell you speak with your eyes.
Right.
It's it's the disgusted looks that you get.
Right. And what I want to make sure is that, just to say publicly, that people who are on the opposite side of this issue, that we're not doing the same thing to them. You know, I mean, I don't want to be that guy who's making fun of people. If people feel more comfortable wearing a mask, they should be able to, but don't talk about my right about not wearing a mask. Absolutely. And that's what's so weird. You know, I think the way they pushed this out there, that was really smart. And I'm just going to be honest. This is my opinion. It was smart and it was evil, was when they said, you're killing other people if you don't do this. Because then people didn't have to, it wasn't a selfish thing. It was, you are the one who's selfish if you don't have the mask on. You know what I mean?
Right,
exactly. And I think that was a brilliant move, because it did get that whole conversation switched where everybody felt bad. But in the end, I think it became a real judgment thing where people could go, well, and you know, let's be really honest. The people wearing the mask are not just doing it to protect you. They think it protects them as well. I mean, it's so obvious by the way people look at you. And that's great. I'm not making fun of that. I'm saying, but don't tell me that you're just taking the moral high ground because you're helping everyone else. And you know what I mean? I think that it's like, come on, people, that gives you you get a high horse that way. You can get up on your high horse, and then you can be like better than everybody else. Bottom line is, none of us knows what if this is real and what is not. Not COVID. I understand COVID's real, but we also don't know what the numbers look like, who's really dying of COVID and who's not dying of COVID. Those are the questions we can never bring up, because then you're a conspiracy theorist. But if you talk to people at the hospitals, you get some pretty interesting information. And I think we need to get to a point where we can talk about that stuff. I mean, it's like, God, oh my God, the whole mask mandate is one of the reasons why I'm not putting my kids into public schools. I think it might have been the vice president say something maybe a month ago. Well, now since parents haven't had their kids in school, they see the value of public education.
Right.
What I think she missed was a whole bunch of parents figured out what was being taught and what's added to the curriculum, and that there's private schools and other places they can put their kids. So they may be biting themselves in the ass when it comes to now, you know, you need public education. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I had an employee that sent us a video of a fourth grader going in front of a school board saying, why do we have to wear masks when the teacher can take her mask off and get drinks of water? We cannot. We get yelled at for not having our mask. And he just reamed the school board. I'll have to send it to you, Rick, so you can see it. It's
and I think that's what maybe, you know, I think some of the good things, shout out from Baker, where I will not shop at a store that imposes a mask mandate. I wouldn't go. I just don't do, and that's fine, Jamie. You totally have your right to do that. I don't do boycotts very well. At least if I do, I don't talk about them. You know what I mean? If there's somebody that I'm not gonna, I mean, there's places that do things and then I won't. But I'm not a. Somebody said something. You're not a very good group person, are you? I go, no. I'm not. Somebody asked me. We're doing a billboard here in town. A dentist, Christy Kilcullen, whose husband Chris was killed, murdered while he was trying to make a traffic stop. He was a police officer, and me, and we're holding up the blue flag and saying, "We back our blue too." And I just put that out a little bit on Facebook, and you'd think that I was Satan. With some people coming after me and going, "Did you check with the NAACP?" And I'm going, "I'm not checking with anybody about what I'm going to, okay, I ran for office once, but I'm not one of these that lifts my finger to see if something I'm going to do is popular or not. I'm doing what I feel in my heart needs to be done." And that is speech. Right. And show my support for police. And nobody's going to stop me from doing that because they're going to, you know, come on my page and say nasty things about it. And it's just, it is unbelievable. So I was sitting here and I was writing down stuff today and I thought, you know what, Amy, we should just have a whole new approach to this whole thing, you know, and just like kind of take a cut off and go, okay, and not pay as much attention to what's going on with that. And just go out, take off our mask and smile and live our lives. And if there's a place you can't go in, this is how I'm going to do mine. If there's a place and they need business and they feel like more safe if they have to put up the mask thing, then I'll make a decision on what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to boycott them. I'm going to continue to live my life. And if places that I love to go have a sign up says I have to have a mask, I'll put the mask on when I get inside a restaurant. I'll take it off just like I have been doing. But I'm also going to honor people who aren't doing that too. It's like we can live our own lives. I don't understand why this is so difficult. And you know what I mean?
I don't understand it either. But I tell you, when I was in Eugene on Saturday, it was so nice to see people without masks.
Yeah.
It was so nice that someone said, "God, it's so good to see you smile."
Yeah.
Happy. Like, no one's happy. No one's happy. Everybody's angry. Just take it off. It is, like you said, a shield, and people feel they have the right to be angry all the time now.
One of the things somebody wrote on here, what public education is totally in disarray, homeschool or private is the way to go. But see, and here's the other problem I think that this is pointing out, and I think it's really healthy to talk about this. A lot of the things we're doing are, again, the haves and the have-nots. Because people who are at lower income can't afford and couldn't afford to put their kids in private school this whole time. So again, they get shit on, just like always. And so here we live in this culture that claims to be wanting to help people who are in poverty, and we shit on them all the time. Well, I mean, the same with the new rules, this energy, you know, the president's, you know, limiting our energy. And I'm not trying to get too political, but here you're limiting energy, and who's going to pay for that? Not the energy companies or the stockholders of PG&E. It's going to, and people like me and you can probably afford that. You know, it's not great and we don't like it. We can probably afford that, but who's going to pay for it? It's the people in poverty. So the very policies that we say we are preaching, we're talking out of our butt. I mean, you're talking out of your ass, and you're not doing it. Here's the other thing,
the homeschool thing. So that's fine. And my daughter homeschooled. I homeschooled her for a semester in high school. It wasn't her thing. But here's the thing. You're going to homeschool a child, but the parents have to work. So then your child is at home trying to be their own adult and manage their own homeschool. So it's you're right. I mean, not every parent gets to stay home.
Right. Well, and
Not every parent can't afford it.
Well, Nora comes on here. She says, people are very passionate about this. I need my jobs, and I hate having to ask if people have a mask. And now I have to ask about vaccinations too. It's scary sometimes. I bet it is, because I know people working in the restaurant industry, and I mean, they tell me some of the things people do, and they're so nasty to them. You know what I mean?
They are nasty.
So instead of doing that to poor Nora and all the other people that are forced to do this, just go somewhere else or put on your mask, walk in. It's not a moral statement for you to pick on Nora. So just walk in, get your mask, walk in, sit down, take it off to eat, because I'm assuming that's where she's working. And if you can't take off your mask at a place, then don't go in if that's how you feel. But let's not be like that, because then we become part of the problem. And I'm tired of the divisiveness and doing that to people like Nora. That's just not fair. Adam says, I see a lot of things as being class warfare. Oh, I think I think this whole thing is creating a caste system that is so ugly and nasty. And it's going to come back to haunt us. I think it's going to be a horrible thing, because you can't do this for a year and then just get out of it.
No, this is going to years. It's going to.
I wonder how long it'll take before you see people not wearing masks at all.
Well, I can tell you in South County, a lot of people don't wear masks.
Right. But I mean, you get into the bigger cities, and then I think, one of my, and I'm not a fearful guy, but one of my concerns would be in the fall, what happens then? And that's why I think people really need to get educated and informed, and we need to grow a pair, because we can't do this again.
No.
That I don't think
small town America will go away if it does it again.
Well, I know a ton of businesses in Eugene and Springfield that will go away if it happens again. I mean, that's just how it is. It keeps creeping. What's this? We can ask apparently, but there's where the foggy line is. Yeah. And yeah. What if somebody says no? What do you do? I'm not going to give it to you. What do you do? And I think honestly,
it becomes well, then you can't come here. And then it's like, well, yes, I can. And then you can't ask me. And yes, we can. It becomes everybody gets angry again.
Well, and I mean, how chicken? Let's just, and how chicken of the governor and OSHA to put this on people like Nora and Nero. Is that right, Nero? I would never have chosen to be in business if I knew I was going to have to be the vaccine police. I mean, this is not, she didn't go to school to be a cop.
No.
And she's not OSHA. She's not one of their people. So it's really kind of chicken to create some slothy rules that nobody really quite understands. And then you force people who are just trying to do their jobs to do your dirty work for you. That's what she's
almost giddy about it.
Oh, I won't get into that. I'll leave her. Oh, it's Nurel. Oh, that's cool. Her name is Nurel. Is that right? That's pretty. That's really pretty, Nurel. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Amy, so what are you going to do then? When will you be back up in business, do you think?
So we're still waiting on funding, and that can still take several weeks. The buildings that we are looking at are going to need construction. So, but I would say 6 to 8 months once we get funding and we can get in there. I'm not afraid of dirty work. If anybody wants to come down to South County and help us gut a building or put some walls up or anything, help us build, come on down. I'll feed you. There's no shame in my game. I will literally trade services. I'll give food for work.
You know what? I had a guy we just had on our show the other day, and he works with ITEX. ITEX. You should look him up online. His name's Arthur. I have a card somewhere, but they do barter stuff, and there's people in our area that are already bartering. So you could get maybe you could get some barter services out of that. Yeah. Oh, you got a pen?
Yes. Hold on.
This is. You guys, we're doing a little bit. We're just doing a little business networking here on the radio on the thing. Coward move to put in on business owners, especially after shutting them all down. Kim, very good point. So it's Arthur Shaw, and his number is 206 699
206
208. Excuse me, 208 699 9692.
Okay.
And call him, just tell him you talked to me, but he does bartering stuff and it mixes you with other people.
I love that.
Hey, Amy, thanks for coming on. And
you're welcome.
And thank you for racing down I-5 at 400 miles an hour to get to Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Yeah.
It wasn't 400.
She goes 600 no matter what.
Fast as I can, just to talk to you, Rick.
All right, Amy, thank you so much. We'll see you later.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Okay, you too. So you guys, again, if we're going to have this conversation, let's keep it as positive as we can, and really look at what we're talking about. I think, when I listen to people talking, that Jordan Peterson, about courage and cowardice, people who are going to continue to wear the mask are not cowards. They believe that. And that's fine. And people who don't wear the masks can be just as cowardly as anybody else. This isn't about that, but it's about what do you believe to be true for you, and then going out and doing that. Because we've lived under this, whatever it has been, for far too long. And I think it's time we get back to being a community and mending fences and looking for ways to support one another instead of ripping each other apart. But we can talk and see if we talk about this and bring up our ideas and talk about that, that's a healthy thing. And we have to be, I think if there's anything that we've ever learned from any of this, is that we have to be involved. I mean, we can't rely on other people. We can't stay home. We have to be involved in what's going on and making decisions and voting and all that. O&E Autobody says, always look on the bright side, be kind and be polite. A word spoken at the right time is like medicine to the soul. Thanks, Rick Dancer. Yeah, I believe in the art of conversation. And I think when people try to shut us down, I have to ask why. And I guess that's the question I would have for the governor is, why, I know you believe, I guess, in what you're doing, but your people are not running. The people who want to get vaccinated have done that. And the other people are watching and are unsure. And let us be watching and let us be unsure. It's not your business to force or coerce us into doing what you think is the right thing to do. That is not America. That is not Oregon. That is not selfish. That is freedom, the F word. And it still is here alive and well. And, that's how it works. Russell James says, I'm in a control group. I've heard that one too. Okay. So anyway, we want to thank Dr. Bratlin, Michael Bratlin, Chris Dental here in Eugene for sponsoring the show. Thank Amy for coming on. And we'll be back tonight with New Leaf Hyperbarics at 5:00. And we're going to be also talking about with NAMI. They have an event coming up this weekend. And NAMI is an organization that deals with folks with mental illnesses and stuff like that. And always a super good conversation and fun. So I appreciate your involvement and keep talking. But you guys be kind and gracious. Firm, but kind and gracious. All right. Have a good day. I'll see you in a few hours. Bye-bye.